Hey, blessings and salutations to all of my lovely astrolites, one and all. I'm Mr. Sensational. Thank you for joining me on my show. If I seem a little bit, not like myself, I haven't really had too much of a good night. Night and today, whatever. Just today's been pretty rough. I won't get into the details, but I still say last night was pretty much my breaking point. Let me tell you what happened. So we were watching this woman because she wanted to. She's pretty much like one of those bozettes who want to disparage my buddy's good name, on the billionaire mindset. And we were watching her video, just ranting, being bitter this whole nearly an hour, basically. Nearly an hour of just dragging his name through the mud. And so I'm just like, she's one of those people who won't even hear or listen. Like she even admitted that she would cherry pick on any of the shows that she would be watching. And she just spent nearly an hour just capping, just telling on herself, doing this, that, and the third. Well, welcome to my show. We're gonna have some fun. So here's the thing. Okay, for the single ladies out there, single sisters mostly, never tell a guy the first time you were meeting with them, never tell him what you do for a living, because that's gonna be a red flag. Because, okay, I'm gonna tell you like this. Let's say you're on a date with a black man, and he asks you, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Never answer that. Especially if you're a doctor or a lawyer, things like that. Because when they ask that, they're basically asking, so what is it that you put on the table? That's the way of, that's how they ask. That's how they're trying to get you. So that's red flag number one. And if you tell them, oh, well, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a physicist, anything that requires a 6 or 7 figure salary, they're going to take advantage of that. They're pretty much going to be like, okay, if I play it through the way that I need to and things go well, I'll play Mr. Nice Guy, I'll marry her and do this, that, and the third, and you don't want to do all that. That's why in my last video I said I encourage sisters to date outside the race. Because with the black man, it's just going to have more problems and more pressure and things like that. So you don't want that. And this woman here was basically, okay, so she's been married for 3 decades, 30 years, and she was just a straight trip. I was getting hyped up nearly through the whole thing. Whoa! Because she's one of those people who watch Kevin Samuels, Cynthia G, saying that she even cherry-picked through those videos. And I didn't believe that. Because a person like that, they're not going to cherry-pick. They're going to sit there and listen to all the garbage that they're filling with their heads with. So there's that. But she was married to this black man. And here's the thing with me. I don't think open marriages should be a thing. Because to me, that tells me that the person's not happy, they want to. I get if you want to spice things up a bit, but you shouldn't have an open marriage. That's just saying to the third party, hello, I'm unhappy. Why don't you come right in and do whatever you want to my spouse? That's basically what they're doing here. And she was happy because it was her idea. And if it was the man's idea, that should have been a red flag itself. But as far as I know, it was her idea. And you know, who doesn't matter whose idea is it. It's a stupid idea. Let's just be real about it. It's a stupid idea to have an open marriage because you're basically saying, okay, you guys watched that episode of Friends where you know, Ross was married to his baby mama, and he decided to spice things up a bit, so he invited a third. Yeah, exactly. You already know what happened. She left with the third party. That's exactly my point. Nobody's learning anymore. Nobody's seen that open marriages are a bad idea. But it's not just the open marriages with Dr. Ratchet. And yeah, I call her Dr. Ratchet. I'm not calling her Dr. Licia the preacher. That should no. Bump that noise. That just sounds stupid. Anyway, she was basically saying how our buddy was disparaging women. And that's not the case. He talks about how, yes, the sisters need to look cute when they're looking for a man. But he was also saying how they need to be smart about things, how they need to have personality, what to say, what not to say, how to watch out for red flags. That's basically what he was saying on his show. You know, I've been watching with Juliana for a long time. I've gotten to know about his show. I've gotten to know what he's about. You know, because you watch all these movies, all these television series about how the black man does not appreciate the sister. And how the sisters are going outside of their race and they're much happier with it. That's basically what we're all about. We want them to truly be happy. But what Dr. Ratchet was talking about, and she was even saying, I know I'm busted, I'm ugly, I'm this and that. Okay, real quick, that is precisely the problem. You just don't want, you want to destroy your self-esteem. That's one way of doing it. You're just like, oh, I know I'm not worth having this, with having that, and this, that, and the other. And you're a doctor, right? So how is it that you live in a nice house, you can get all these fancy things, but you don't know how to take care of yourself? You don't pamper your poom-poom, pamper your privates. You don't even use lotion, I'm assuming. You have all this cheddar, all this money, and you don't want to invest it in yourself. And I'm gonna be real with you. Whether it's a man or woman, black, white, if you don't put in an effort, nobody's going to want to be with you. Because after seeing your video, I already know you got a nasty attitude. Just point blank. And if you see this video, feel free to say whatever you want. But a lot of people are going to have my back on this one. Because if you see all my past videos, I tell the absolute truth. I don't cap on anything. If I'm in the wrong, I'm willing to admit when I'm in the wrong. That's just how I am. It's like, okay, uh, you guys are supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. You, Astrolites already know what I'm about. But for you to disparage somebody who's still happily married, mind you, and he's married to a dark-skinned woman, has a child with her. So, for you to say the things that you did, that wasn't right. And about 97, 98% of what you said is garbage. Because Nate welcomes sisters. He welcomes them. He just doesn't want them. Okay, so here's the thing. He welcomes them on his show. But he's not going to be like, oh, you know you're not cute, you know you're not this, you're not that, you're worthless, you're... I mean, he'll do it if he feels you're in the wrong. But in general, he's not going to be like... okay, so I mentioned it earlier. Yes, a woman has to look cute to meet a guy. I'm not even going to front on that. Because any other guy would say the same thing. But here's what I'm going to say. To sisters everywhere watching this video. Be careful of the men you date who ask you what it is you do for a living. Because if you work 6 or 7 figures into your salary and you tell them that, they're going to get you on the hook somehow. So you need to watch out for that. Now, if a man asks you, so what are your ambitions? What are your goals? That's completely different. If they ask you what you do for a living, you need to switch up the subject quick. Just be like, oh, let me ask you something first. And just choose any question at the top of your head. Because they're going to be like, okay, well, so on, so forth. You see what I'm talking about? And apparently, she did this twice in her marriage. Whoa! She wanted to have open relationships in her marriage. Now, that's disrespectful. That means you condone cheating. You just want to be able to... You know about the cheating, but you want to be a part of it. That's not right. That is utter disrespectful. Disrespectful. Because you're just welcoming in a third stranger into your home, or whether you know him or not, it's still wrong. And then you want to turn around and play victim and be like, oh, well, he left with the so on and so forth because you allowed it. You allowed it. You allowed a third person to come into your home. I'm pretty sure both of them were white women. And yeah, you are a straight trip. And I'd say you look like Shabba Ranks, but let's face it, Shabba Ranks is looking a lot more better than you. So anyway. If you watch Kevin Samuels and Cynthia G, that says all that I need to know about you. Because otherwise, you would have had a completely different concept. You wouldn't have had Cash Shade on our buddy. You wouldn't have had to do what you did, basically. And sorry, Astrolites. It's just so frustrating to talk about, because sisters, I say this a lot when I'm on these videos. You're worth so much more. And I'm saying you're worth more than your looks. You're worth more than your hair. To me, I love personality. I find intelligence sexy, aka I'm a sapiosexual. How hard is it just to be a decent human being and know right from wrong? How hard is that? And yeah, you are bitter. Anybody else to tell you. But you're acting bitter on purpose. You do the things you do on purpose. Because your marriage would have lasted a lot longer had you not had that open relationship in your marriage. It's one thing to do when you're single, but when you're married, you got to put that stuff in the rear view. There's no point. There's no point of doing that anymore. And you want to get on Nate just because what he said, because you didn't reach the 40 plus mark in your marriage. He was basically saying you don't have the golden age type of wisdom that you're supposed to have when you reach your 40, 50, 60 years of marriage, whatever it is. That's basically what he was saying. Because you're supposed to have a golden age of wisdom when you reach your golden ages. Oh, when you reach your golden years, excuse me. But I'm going to tell you like this. Fix up your personality. Put some lotion on. Pamper your privates. Do what you need to do. Because even in the light, if there was such a creature, you definitely look like Blackzilla. I'm just going to say that. You just look like... And I usually don't clown women because they don't need any help. They do that themselves. I'm just telling it like it is. Because that's how you were acting in your last video. And honestly, I'm surprised that you got more subscribers than I do. Because I speak truth. And you just cap throughout your videos. I can tell when somebody's preaching and when somebody's casting shade. And Alicia is no preacher. I'm just going to say that. But anyway. I believe I have said my piece in this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Again, I apologize if I'm not up to par today. Again, I won't go into details, but anyway. To all the sisters out there, you don't just have to look cute. You don't just have to have good hair. Just flat out, be kind. Be a decent human being. Have some personality. Those will go a long way. Don't listen to people like Cynthia G or Dr. Alicia, aka Dr. Ratchet, because they're just going to steer you off the wrong path. They're going to steer you on the wrong path, excuse me. But anyway, I shall leave you with that. Thank you so much. Blessings to one and all. I will see you in the next video.